In 1792 BC, the greatest ruler of Babylon's Amorite dynasty, Hammurabi, came to the throne as its sixth king. Initially, he didn't seem to be interested in military campaigns.
He ruled for 43 years. And starting in his 30th year, he gets it into his head to emulate Sargon, to build himself an empire. He starts campaigning against the neighboring kingdoms. And these are neighboring kingdoms that had previously been allies. These are some of them he had long-standing relationships with. And all of a sudden, he's turning up on the borders with his army, ready to fight, ready to take them over.
Hammurabi's military campaigns were distinguished by the growing popularity of hostage-taking for ransom.
There were merchants who specialized in this, who would go and ransom the Babylonian soldiers from the enemy. They would pay the ransom, and then they were required to be paid back. A win-win situation for the merchant, because they would make a profit off these ransoms that they were paying.
Hammurabi's conquests extended from the Persian Gulf to Syria. Although his empire wasn't as big as Sargon's had been, scholars rate Hammurabi as the greatest empire builder since Sargon. However, he set himself apart from the former king.
Whereas Sargon seems to have relied upon his power and his almost terror tactics to keep people under control, Hammurabi presents himself almost like a modern politician in that he wants to be loved. He wants the people to like him. He's going to set up laws that will protect them, not laws that will terrify them and force them into submission.
Hammurabi's fame grew from his conquests, but his greatness came from his concern with justice. Toward the end of his reign, he erected several monuments in his cities. The largest one to remain intact is a stone slab known today as the Hammurabi Stele, a collection of 282 legal verdicts. They're written in a wedge-shaped script called cuneiform, the earliest known writing, developed in Sumer at the end of the 4th millennium.
If a slave says to the master, "You are not my master," the master shall cut off the slave's ear. If a man brings an accusation of murder against another man without providing proof, the accuser shall be put to death. If a woman is not discreet, but a gadabout, thus neglecting her house and discrediting her husband, they shall throw this woman in the water.
Hammurabi's plan for administering justice was extensive. His civil and criminal regulations covered many subjects, including commercial, family, and property law, prices and wages, and slavery regulations and fees.
Some of them seem very sensible to us. Hammurabi, the court spends a lot of time on specifying the social position of a married woman, when she's at fault for doing something, when she's not, what her property rights are. Laws that seem very, very advanced to us nowadays and very much not unexpected. On the other hand, what we find in the Hammurabi Code is the eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth passages that totally parallel the biblical notion of that.
Hammurabi's justice was not necessarily equitable. Rights varied based on an individual's status as a landowning free citizen, a civil servant, or a slave.
If you, as a citizen, kill a slave, you might get away with just paying a fine. If you kill another citizen, you most likely are going to be killed for that yourself. So certainly in the old Babylonian period, not all animals were equal.
The articulation of law by Hammurabi was not the first time people in Mesopotamia were given a code to live by. But Hammurabi's effort was the most comprehensive and sophisticated. Following Hammurabi's reign, southern Mesopotamia became known as Babylonia, a unified kingdom. And Babylon became Mesopotamia's political, cultural, and religious center.
So it was really Hammurabi's doing that made Babylon what it was and what it would be under the Neo-Babylonians, Nebuchadnezzar, when it was this great, huge metropolis of the ancient world.
In 1750 BC, illness compelled Hammurabi to surrender the throne to his son. By 1000 BC, Babylon had established a lasting national state in the south.